Hi, I'm Lisa, and I'd like to welcome you to Miss Lisa's Learning Hub. Today we're going to be talking about adjectives. Remember, adjectives are words that describe. They tell us how many, how much, which one, but they're all descriptive. So let's take just a little example sentence. What if we say, I see a rose bush? Very simple sentence. We can use something with adjectives in it to make that little sentence of I see a rose bush much more descriptive. We can say how many. I see 3 rose bushes. We can say what color. I see 3 red rose bushes. I see 3 brilliant red rose bushes. So we can take a little bitty sentence and make it very descriptive by using adjectives. All right, continuing in that vein, we're going to be talking about something called comparative and superlative adjectives. This is simply something that means when we're comparing 2 things, 3 things, or more, we have to change the ending of a word. So, comparison with adjectives using ER or EST. An adjective has 3 degrees of comparison. The positive, which is the base word, the comparative, which is comparing 2 things, and the superlative degree, which is comparing 3 or more things. So let's look at a sample. The positive, or the base word here, is hot. But if we want to compare that to something else, today is hotter than yesterday. We're comparing 2 days. Then we're just going to add ER to the back. You'll notice here we also doubled the consonant before we added ER. If we're comparing 3 things, we're going to say today is the hottest day of the month, meaning we're comparing 3 or more days out the month and saying it's the hottest. So ER when we're comparing 2 things, EST when we're comparing 3 or more. Another example, we have someone who's tall, someone who is taller, and then the tallest. So let's look at some practice and see how we can work this out. All right, number 1. This test is blank, the word is easy, then the last one. So is this test just easy than the last one? That doesn't make sense because we have 2 things. We have this one and the last one. So we have 2, right? We're comparing 2 things. So if it's 2 comparisons, we have to add ER. So this test is easier than the last one. Now you notice we did the basic English rule where we change Y to I before we add ER. All right, that joke was the funny I've ever heard. Okay, so obviously we've all heard more than one joke in our life. So most likely we're comparing 3 or more. So that joke was the funniest because we have 3 or more. And once again, we're changing Y to I before we add EST. Now let's look at the next one. You're going to do this one by yourself. Today is cold than yesterday. So think about this. How many things are we comparing? Today and yesterday. 2 things. So which version are we going to use? Comparative or superlative? All right, if you said colder, you would be correct because we're comparing 2 things, so we put the ER on the back of the sentence. My dog is young than yours. How many are we comparing? Mine and yours. So we have 2. So we're going to use which form? If you said comparative, you would be right. So my dog is younger than yours. All right, number 5. This car is fast than that one. Again, how many are we comparing? This one, that one. So there's 2. So again, we're going to use comparative. So faster. And finally, Mary is the tall girl on our team. A team usually has more than 2 people on it. So this time we're comparing more than 2 people. So we have to use superlative. Okay, so we're going to add EST on the back. So Mary is the tallest girl on our team. All right, guys. That is it for comparative and superlative. If you like what you saw in this lesson, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next one.